Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a Sports Sit Down NBA Trade Deadline edition. Martino Puccio, Matt Lasella with you. Okay, 48 hours to the trade deadline. Lots of tweets last night. Isaiah Thomas with the eyes. Andre Drummond retweeting it with the eyes. Jay Crowder, a bunch of players saying they're not.
Drummond took his piss and stuff off Twitter.
Yeah,
then he put up a new profile pic. Actually, tweeted the picture, hashtag new profile pic. And then changed it to his profile pic, and then literally seconds later deleted it and put it back to him and his Pistons thing. Brandon Jennings was kind of going off. Brandon Jennings, I don't know what.
He's
Brandon Jennings is a little bit of a clown. He tweeted LOL ... and then something else, and then a few minutes later was like, I'm just going to tweet stuff, and then started talking about Marc Gasol in the All-Star game. So Brandon Jennings, I'm assuming, is not involved in any of this. Just some supreme trolling.
No, I think most of it's trolling, but Isaiah Thomas is the one who started it, so I think there obviously is a chance that it was trolling, but at the same time, last time he tweeted it, they signed Al Horford not too long after. The real interesting one is the one you didn't point out, but you mentioned it to me last night, how Celtics Instagram followed Carmelo Anthony on Instagram, obviously.
Isaiah followed him
was
also.
Interesting.
The other interesting one I saw as well, I only realized this today, was Paul George.
Yeah,
changed his location to
I'll let you know when I land.
That could just be
a
dunk type thing, and I'll let you know when I land.
Also, I think that's a joke. But then again, there was rumors as well that the Pacers were interested in trading for Jahlil Okafor. That came out earlier today.
Yeah,
really interesting stuff that's going on.
Kind of a lot of stuff just getting thrown.
Yeah, it's thrown around. I mean, there was even the reports of Damian Lillard, but we wanted to keep it to the guy in Chicago, Jimmy Butler, who obviously has been connected to the Celtics the most, besides DeMarcus Cousins. But DeMarcus is now in New Orleans, in which we just talked about. So Jimmy Butler, obviously the Bulls are going to demand Brooklyn picks. Both Brooklyn picks, I think, is a lot because they're also going to have to give up some players. And to me, you're giving up all those assets and current players on the roster you're going to have eventually have three max players with Horford, Butler, and IT.
Well,
does that win you the championship? No.
Probably not, but realistically, they're not even asking for that much. It's asking for that because of the Cousins trade. The Cousins trade has lowered the bar for free agents now.
It has to, yeah.
Because Cousins essentially got traded for 16 cents in a bag of basketballs. Yes. I mean, now the whole free agent gauge is way off kilter.
I totally get what you're saying, but at the same time, just because the Kings settled for less necessarily doesn't mean that Gar Forman and John Paxson are going to settle for less for Jimmy Butler. There's also more years on his contract. He's not a head case or in the locker room.
The average general manager is definitely a better general manager than Vlade Divac, and they're going to look at that situation and say, Cousins for that? No. Butler's worth way more, and hopefully
But we say that, but then there's the Michael Carter Williams trade.
Right.
There's just
some head scratchers.
There's just a letting of the Tom Thibodeau go.
Yep.
I mean, there's just been some real head scratcher moves, like even the Jimmy Butler contract too. That whole scenario, they didn't want to give him
just signing Rondo.
And I mean, even the Rondo signing, the D Wade signing too, doesn't make much sense. But it was a good money move. It's just been a disaster for the Bulls, obviously, and also Danny Ainge never really loses a trade. So I wouldn't think that Danny Ainge is going to think he's going to try and overpay for someone. Also, I don't think Jimmy Butler is that kind of transcending player. I think for the right price, Jimmy Butler would be the good fit for the Celtics, but I wouldn't give him up if it cost 2 Brooklyn picks and a Jay Crowder or Avery Bradley or even a Marcus Smart. I just totally don't think it's worth it. I think the Celtics are going to just be lacking bench players at that point. And the real issue is the front court. It's not another guard/forward combo that they need. I mean, they have that in Jaylen Brown, Crowder. They have a bunch of guys that could definitely play multiple positions, defend multiple positions, but their problem is their front court with the rebounding, and that's why they've been included in trade talks for Andrew Bogut, allegedly. So I think Bogut might be the way to go, and there's also P.J. Tucker that there were rumors for as well. So I think it's still going to be a waiting game on the Celtics, because also at the same time, the pick, we talk about this all the time. We don't know where the pick is. We don't know where that pick is going to end up. Assuming Brooklyn stays the worst team in the league, it can't go worse than 4th. So
my question here is, a little bit straying off, but it's only, middle afternoon Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard anything yet. Is there a chance that Cleveland gets involved something with somebody? J.R. Smith is coming back soon. That helps the scoring load on LeBron, but the front court is still depleted. Love is still going to be out. And you got Tristan Thompson and Channing Frye is filled in admirably, but are we going to see Cleveland? I mean, just the whole Damian Lillard thing. I didn't expect to see Portland possibly shopping Lillard.
They're taking phone calls.
You take offers, of course, when you're in the situation they're in. But now, I mean, we're assumingly going to see at least 7 more teams. With something the Mavericks
because it is a loaded draft and it's a guard-heavy draft, so maybe
everybody's
people want to stock up on the front court.
Absolutely. So is that something you think we're going to see? Is Cleveland at some point soon at least mentioning an interest in somebody? Because it doesn't feel right if LeBron isn't kind of behind stuff and forcing things to go out and get help. He needs the help.
I think Cleveland's totally going to want to make a move, and they might make a small-time move, but at the same time,
for a real specific
you gotta look at it.
Need.
Who do you really see as that big of a threat? I mean, Toronto's not the 2 seed as of right now.
No, but
Toronto gave them the best series last year, but seriously, who's going to give the Cavaliers, because Kevin Love's going to be healthy come playoff time? Who's really going to give the Cavs a run for their money that they're like, okay,
right now Toronto's signing of Ibaka definitely helps them.
I think they're the second team.
Definitely helps them
in the East.
But
after
if Boston were to make another move, then it's clearly Boston, because Boston's right there. It's just offensively, I don't think they have enough to.
No, they don't have another
Cleveland.
scorer.
You can only rely on Isaiah Thomas's fourth quarters for so long. Horford hasn't been that good offensively, and most of their guys just don't possess a huge offensive skill set. So right now, probably Toronto with Boston right behind them. Yep. But if Toronto or if Boston makes a move, then it's easily.
But
Boston.
I think this all pretty much hinges on what kind of model Danny wants to follow. If Danny Ainge wants to follow the Spurs model, then I think he stands pat, tries to develop the players. Because, hey, look, Jimmy Butler his first year was only averaging like 8.5 minutes a game. He really wasn't playing that much. He wasn't scoring. He wasn't really the kind of player that he is now. So you never know. Jay Crowder turned into almost a 50, 40, 90 player this year. So who knows how good Jaylen Brown can be, because he's shown flashes of really being able to get to the basket without any problems. So I think it's a waiting game. They've been patient this whole time. I think they should stay patient because
they're still
in
in
the
good spot in the East. There's not a.
They're not beating the Cavs anytime soon.
Right. They're not. It's not something you have to like.
It's long
term.
term.
The Pelicans was something they needed to do because they're like, hey, the bottom of the West, the 7-8 spot, the 7. Okay, OKC's got that by however many games. But the 8 spot's up for grabs. It's Denver right now.
But also, no disrespect to any Boston Celtics players, and I'm a huge Celtics fan. They have Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a totally different. He's a superstar type player.
Right.
He's on a whole nother level of an Isaiah Thomas. No offense, because even though he is that short, it is a problem defensively. But Anthony Davis, all-time great talent. You could argue with whoever. I mean, great, fantastic defender. Boogie, really good defender as well, and an offensive player. So, I mean, they put themselves in an opportunity where they got 2 superstars. The Celtics don't have a superstar. You could debate whether or not you think Isaiah Thomas is one, but he's definitely not on their level as a two-way player. So I think the Celtics are going to sit back. Even Jimmy Butler's guys are saying that they don't think he'll be traded. I don't think that's the case. If anything, I think we might see some traction come June again. But as of for now, I don't think a Jimmy Butler to the Celtics trade will happen. So, I mean, you could give your 2 cents on that. Go ahead, your prediction.
I think it's still a possibility. I mean, I'd say...
Give me your percentage chance.
Like 45.
Okay. That's reasonable.
45. Just because there's multiple other players that the Celtics are looking at,
They could go
We'll
George.
get into it, Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, but 2 other guys that fit similar molds and, the chance of
That's
that.
totally fair. Yeah. Okay, I'm Martino Puccio. That's Matt Lasella. Thanks for listening on our trade deadline information. There's going to be a couple more segments on that coming up.